All right, today we're jumping into one of the biggest stories. Well, ever. It's about our journey to read and now even write, the very code of life itself. And believe me, this isn't just science, it's about our future, and it raises some absolutely massive questions.
So let's kick things off with an idea that might kind of mess with your head a little. This quote, it really challenges the most fundamental thing we think we know about ourselves. The very idea that you are a single individual you. Well, it suggests that might be a little arrogant.
So why arrogant? Well, it all comes down to this number right here. Get this, for every one of your human cells, you're carrying around up to 10 bacterial cells. 10! That means you're not just a person. You're a walking, talking ecosystem. A whole planet of life all on your own.
This just completely changes the picture, doesn't it? The source material we're looking at uses this amazing metaphor. Think of your human cells as a mountain, okay? But all the bacteria, the viruses, the fungi, that's the forest covering the mountain. And here's the kicker. The mountain can't survive without the forest. It's all one big, interconnected system.
Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. Let's talk about one of the most famous, and let's be honest, most feared residents of this personal ecosystem of yours, the virus. And our quest to figure this ancient enemy out, it's been one heck of a detective story. So what is a virus, really? When you get right down to it, it's almost ridiculously simple. The way it's described here is perfect. It's just a tiny piece of genetic code, like a secret message, all wrapped up in a little protein shell. That's it. It doesn't eat, it doesn't breathe. You could say it's not even truly alive. It has just one single-minded goal: get inside a living cell and force it to make more copies of its message. You know, for the longest time, we were fighting something we couldn't even see. Back in 1892, scientists had a hunch that something even smaller than bacteria was out there. But that's all it was, a hunch. It wasn't until the 1930s, when we invented the electron microscope, that we finally got our first glimpse of a virus. But just look at how things have accelerated. Look at that jump in our ability to decode them, especially in just the last couple of decades.
And this right here just perfectly shows the insane leap forward we've made. When the SARS virus hit back in 2003, it took our best scientists about 6 months to figure out its genetic code. Fast forward to 2020 with COVID-19, we did it in 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. That incredible speed is exactly why we were able to develop tests and vaccines at a pace that would have seemed like pure science fiction just a few years before.
So, once we got really good at reading the genetic code of our enemies, we did something amazing. We turned that incredible technology around and pointed it at ourselves, starting the most ambitious reading project in human history.
And the goal? Wow, it was just breathtaking. The idea was to read every single letter in the book of human life. This massive global effort became the Human Genome Project. The mission? To sequence all 3 billion letters of our DNA.
But what's really cool is that right from the beginning, the whole world agreed on a really important rule. This knowledge, the code that literally makes us human, couldn't be owned. It couldn't be patented. It was declared the common heritage of all humanity, a resource to be shared with everyone, for the benefit of everyone. But, reading the book of life? That was just step one. The next step, the one that was always coming, was learning how to write in it. And with that came a power that's almost godlike, and one of the biggest ethical tests we've ever faced. And this question right here, this isn't science fiction anymore. The ability to edit the genes of a human embryo, it's here, it's real, and that technology immediately throws us into this incredibly complex dilemma, one that was ripped from the pages of theory and thrown into shocking reality just a few years back. Okay, so back in 2018, the world was absolutely stunned when a scientist named He Jiankui made an announcement. He claimed he had done the unthinkable. He'd created the world's first gene-edited babies. Now, his stated goal sounded pretty noble. He wanted to change a specific gene to make the children immune to HIV, which was a virus their father carried. But the reaction from the global scientific community wasn't praise. Oh no. It was immediate, and it was a near total condemnation. As the details started to come out, it became crystal clear that this whole experiment was a catastrophic failure, and not just ethically, but on a technical level too. So what made it such a complete disaster? Well, first off, he did something called germline editing. This means the changes he made don't just stop with these babies. They could be passed down to their children and their children's children, forever, basically polluting the human gene pool. Second, the edits themselves were just sloppy. The technology, it's like a pair of molecular scissors, right? Well, his scissors missed their mark, creating all sorts of unintended and unknown mutations. Third, it seems the parents didn't fully understand the huge risks involved. And finally, and this might be the worst part, he allegedly knew the edits were flawed, but he went ahead and did it anyway.
This whole experiment is just such a huge cautionary tale, isn't it? It shows so clearly that our technical ability to mess with the code of life has raced way, way ahead of our wisdom about how, or even if, we should be using it. It forces us to take a step back and ask, what's the endgame here? What are we actually trying to do?
And what we seem to be learning, whether we're talking about viruses or our own genes, is that the goal probably isn't total victory. It's not about eradication. We can't just get rid of all viruses, because if we did, who knows what kind of hole that would leave in the ecosystem. We're all part of this incredibly complex, interconnected system. The real goal, it seems, is finding balance. It's about coexistence.
And that really gets to the core of the challenge. As the famous line goes, life finds a way. It's so incredibly resilient. Our attempts to completely control it often just show our own arrogance. Life evolves, it adapts, and it will always, always find a way around whatever box we try to put it in. So here's where we've landed. We've gone from being just characters in the story of evolution to being its authors. We are literally learning how to write the code of life. We hold the pen now. So the question isn't, can we do this anymore? The real question, the one we all have to answer, is what kind of story are we going to choose to tell?